Hello everybody, welcome back to Talking Tricks. It's been a second, but we're back. Bryce, Jason, how y'all doing?
Hey guys, Bryce has been doing really well. He's about to finish up his last algebra class of all time. Crass. And yeah, grading some papers, looking handsome.
Jason is currently still learning English, but he's living life and doing things, so things are going pretty well.
We got a PhD, we got an MD, and then Jason's just
C student.
just like
Yeah. C student.
Jason knows a lot about computers, and I do not know a lot about computers. So
yeah, there's spooky magic to me.
Yeah, you guys weren't present for before the show, obviously, but I was having technical difficulties with fucking headphones, so that just tells you how little I know about technology.
But I built the Talking Tricks API that feeds podcast episodes to Spotify and Apple.
Yeah, so. I would have just used Anchor.
Whatever that is.
I don't know. It's like the website that just like does it for you, basically.
Weak shit, dude. No, we're a full homegrown operation here.
It's the Squarespace of podcasts, basically. So
it's swag. The Shopify of e-commerce shops. Yeah.
All right, so fellas, what are your opinions on different tricking surfaces? Essentially,
well, I've got different opinions for different surfaces, Frank.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, first of all, maybe we should go off and rattle off some of the common surfaces that people wind up tricking on, and maybe the reasons why they wind up tricking on them.
Right. Okay.
What are some tricking surfaces that trickers aren't tricking on?
And tricking on
Mercury,
but aren't tricking on. Exactly. Yeah.
The element and the planet, by the way. Just
right.
Yeah, I think we don't necessarily have to go into the weeds on like the specifics. Like I'm sure nobody's tricking on pure nickel plates or anything like that. But like you have hard surfaces, soft surfaces, and then spring surfaces, and things that get springier from there. And that's probably descriptive enough as far as a breakdown for things to talk about.
Well,
and it's also kind of got a natural progression of how to talk about it, going from harder to softer, or we can go from softer to harder if we're all getting.
I think it's interesting to go from harder to softer because there's a point at which tricks stop counting.
Yes,
right?
Okay. Yes, that's true.
And I think what we should seek to aim out in this episode is that point. We should find the point where tricks stop counting.
Okay, I think that'll be actually pretty easy to find, but
yeah. I think we can all come to a general consensus, and I'm also interested to know what some of the listeners may think about that. But yeah, but that's one thing. That's one objective I think we should seek out this episode.
I think as we zoom in, we might find that it's blurrier than we might think. But
I think so too. I agree. It's going to get to a point where it's kind of.
All right, but let's start out with harder surfaces first, okay? Concrete, good
concrete, asphalt, anything that's basically not harder than grass. There is no grass or sand. There is no give. When you hit this shit, it's not moving at all in response to your impact. So if you collide with it, like when you fall, for example, it's going to be really bad compared to something like falling on grass or sand, where there is give and there is some sort of impact. There's some way to absorb your momentum as you hit the ground. That isn't just in your body breaking.
I actually do have an honorable mention in this category once we finish talking about concrete specifically. But yeah, thank you for the physics rundown of that, Bryce. I think that anyone who trains on concrete is just an absolute psychopath. Like, don't get me wrong, very impressive. It's, if you could do that, I'm like, you're a magician. But also a psychopath because, like, I feel like you're putting undue harm into your body not for no reason, because there's like cloud associated obviously with like, oh, you could triple cork on concrete and stuff like that, but let's be real, like it's not worth it.
It's unnecessary stress accumulation, and avoiding excess stress accumulation, and I'm talking about like physical stress accumulation. That's kind of like the name of the game for tricking, because something that's really important for tricking training is being consistent and frequent. And that means that if your training routine has you consistently building stress, consistently building fatigue over time, eventually you're just going to need to take a break, or you're going to injure yourself. Right. And generally people injure themselves because they don't take breaks, because taking breaks is really hard. So in order to avoid that, what you need to do is have some sort of routine that avoids accumulating stress at too great a rate compared with the way you recover. And in general, there's sort of no way to incorporate concrete training into a routine that does that, because nobody was made to trick on rocks. It's just kind of not something that,
to be fair, no one was made to trick in general, but you
were made to swing from branches at one point in your evolutionary history, and that's about as close as we can get.
Yeah. I think it's interesting.
A really well executed Gumby just reminds me of like what you would want to do if you wanted to start swinging down and going the opposite direction on a branch. If I'm standing on a branch and I want to go backwards right now, I just Gumby on the branch that I'm currently standing on.
I just pictured that, and it was perfect. I think a very important thing to bring up with concrete is that if you train, if like, for example, the only thing you have available to you, let's say, I don't know, you live in a concrete fucking like there's just no grass around you, you have to train basically like Dan Perez tells us to train, where it's just like
no falling.
You can't be falling, like, because
I was gonna highlight this too, Frank. I wanted to note that there's like a gradient that like the harder the surface to the more bouncy the surface, like our skill level tends to increase, like the bouncier, obviously the more capable you are, so to say, but also like the more you might be willing to try, like, I don't think you'd be, exactly. You'd be intentionally not trying to land your first triple cork on concrete unless you had done triple cork already like multiple times on a much more forgiving surface.
Wasn't like one of the first triple corkers actually like, I don't know why I pictured like Ross or something doing triple cork on concrete. It might not have been his first one, but I don't know. He did it pretty early on concrete, which is kind of ridiculous. But yeah, no, I don't know. Concrete just to me, like, the other thing you were saying about injuries, Bryce, is that like I am worried about acute injuries, don't get me wrong. You're definitely way more likely to get fractures and all that stuff on concrete, but there's definitely way more chronic stress on your body as well, because you're not able to catch that weight as much. Kind of what you were saying before, Bryce, with like the fact that it has no give. For example, gym floor, it like depresses and compresses and does a lot of different things when you land on it, so it absorbs that energy. While concrete, it's just kind of your body that's taking the energy.
Yep.
And that travels up, your whole, chain of command, which is just like, it's not just going to be your knees and ankles, it's going to be your back, that's
and you can't just get used to it. It's not like, I'll just get tough enough to train on concrete. No, that's not what's happening while you're doing it.
I mean, bones get stronger, but I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing.
That's not the only thing that's happening.
Yeah. So, I don't know, concrete, what would you guys give it out of 10 stars?
I would give I'd give
like
it a
0.5.
trick only. Yeah, I'd give it a trick only when necessary. I've tricked on concrete and harder surfaces before at gatherings. It's literally just all right, we have got no other surface. We feel like doing a trick or two right now. Just don't do anything stupid. But you can do it if you got control over that whatever trick you're trying to do.
Yeah. Oh, also one last thing about concrete. I literally just saw a video on Facebook of this dude tricking on like a basketball court, like a concrete basketball court, with no shoes on, and I was just like,
Jesus Christ!
Like,
fucking what are
that's Justice. Justice will literally do. Justice Buchanan will literally do like double corks and cork swing double cork on concrete without shoes.
That's some psychopath shit.
He's got holy sandals on.
It's insane. So yeah, I don't know how he did that, because like I was getting bruised heels just watching him do it. It was insane.
Speaking of bruised heels, does anyone like feel like they get the most bruised heels from like wet sand tricks?
Oh my god, yeah.
I can't have a beach session without leaving with like bruised heels.
some
Okay.
part of my foot is going to be fucking hurting after I trick on sand.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
I know this isn't the next natural progression, but I still feel like maybe we should talk about it before grass, and that's sand. Like exactly what you just said, because sand is a very interesting one. Because,
Right. It's more forgiving than grass is, for
well,
sure.
it depends. It depends,
Yes, it
because
depends.
like dry sand. First of all, there's definitely a trade off where it's just like the less rigid a surface is, the less push off you can get from it.
Exactly. You
Unless it
can't jump hard off of sand at all. It has no return because it is moving as you're trying to jump off of it. But that kind of confers its own unique training benefit. If you train on dry sand, then you're getting you're getting used to working with a lot less jumping power than you would otherwise have. So when you return to other surfaces where you can actually jump, well, now you just have a whole lot more gas in the tank than you're used to training with, and that's going to reflect in the way you jump and stuff on that surface.
Yeah, it's actually that's something we learned when I was in athletic training. Is it's actually a really good thing to like run in the sand. Like it really strengthens your ankles, your calves. Like I mean, especially when you think about your ankles, because your ankles are having to invert, like plantar flex, dorsiflex while you're in it and like stabilize while you're in sand consistently. So that I mean that's why you get your shin splints and like your calves are hurting after you walk in the sand for so long. Um, it's good for you for sure. But I for one don't like training on specifically dry sand, obviously because everything we just mentioned.
You kick sand up, you get dirty, like you're sweaty, and now you are like, have sand sticking to your sweaty body.
It's the worst in every way. You get sand in your pants. You're just like you get some sand rashes. Like if you like abrase yourself on the sand, it's just as a Floridian, it's not pleasant.
Yeah, your feet become physically disgusting just to like even look at. It's
But
not
then, so
fun.
that's dry sand. Wet sand, now you can actually press off of this thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Wait until you fall on this.
It's basically
Yeah.
this is concrete 2.0, but it like dissolves.
It's
sometimes.
sandpaper as well.
Yeah, not
And
only
not
like
only is it hard as shit, but it's also literally sandpaper.
it has some give, but it's like never the give. It's not immediate give. It's give after you've already like destroyed your shit. Only then after you have collided full force with the surface will you then indent the surface,
It's
and
actually
press it.
what's known as a non-Newtonian fluid, sort of in a way. If you've ever put a lot of cornstarch into water, you'll see something similar to this. And what it means to be non-Newtonian as a fluid is that your viscosity, the way you respond to shear forces, it changes with velocity. And normally, if it's independent of velocity, that's what we call a Newtonian fluid. And that means it doesn't matter how fast I hit water, it still acts like water when I hit it. But something like cornstarch in water or really, really wet sand, and you can really see this as you add more water to sand and get it to like a quicksand texture. When you hit it, it will blow up and break like it was solid. And if you hit it when you're tricking on a beach, you will feel very much that it is solid. But yes, as Jason is saying, immediately afterwards, it will now start to give because now you are moving at a much lower velocity and its viscosity has changed.
All I'm hearing is that
Beautiful. I love that we have Bryce on. What would we do without Bryce, honestly?
I love the physics. All I'm hearing though is that it's just like we're in a video game and that shit's lagging. Like you hit it and it just doesn't deform until after the fact. It's like already too late. So yeah. Wet sand specifically to me. I don't know. I've had different experiences in different locations actually. Because Florida wet sand really really sucks. It literally feels like concrete to me personally, and it's just like all the bad things about concrete, but you also like kind of feel more like you're in a safer environment because you're in sand, and so you do stupider shit, but then you fuck your shit up more. But I feel like I've been.
The thing is, it looks so nice.
It does.
Combos on the beach, on the edge of the water, just looks so great. So you're so tempted.
Oh my god, that's so true. The aesthetic does look so good. But there's like in-betweeners, like, you know what I mean? Is like, this is like, I don't know, sand that has just gotten wet from like, a wave washing in, but I feel like there's still sand that's like damp, but it's not dry, and that's like the good in-between sand that you do want to trick on, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys have had that experience, but
Yeah,
I've never-
I haven't found that, but I'm sure that there's probably a much better medium than the two extremes I've experienced.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Beach or sand, I should say. I would just give it. I don't know. I'm personally not a fan. I don't know about you boys, but even like a sand pit, like doing tricks into a sand pit, I'm just kind of not a fan of. So sand in general to me is just like I don't know, like 2 out of 10 stars.
I think I would rather trick on concrete.
Yeah, I would too. Actually, you're not getting bits of concrete on you, so yeah.
I don't have nearly as negative an opinion about it. I don't do it very often still, but like, yeah, I think it can be beneficial to incorporate training on dry sand into your routine just because it forces you to have to accommodate for not having as much jumping power, despite how uncomfortable it is. However, yeah, training on wet sand, I can't really encourage doing it often for the same reasons that I can't encourage doing, training on concrete very often.
Right, right. But yeah, so the other hard surface that I wanted to bring up actually that I think is actually very different from concrete is basketball court like wood kind of
wood.
surface.
Basically any hardwood surface.
Yeah, and specifically like basketball court, I don't know why I'm like deathly scared of it. So I actually
Dude, I roll my ankles like no one else on fucking hardwood floors, let me tell you.
yeah.
I think you have a good reason to be afraid of those floors. I'm afraid of those floors.
And I think it's just like the athletic trainer in me, like I don't like just knowing how sports injuries happen. It's just there's so much friction on that floor, and friction is just the perfect recipe to like basically create torsion at your knee and tear your ACL. Like that's just what goes on in my head whenever I think of like a hardwood floor. And maybe I'm wrong because like honestly, I can't say I've thrown a single trick on hardwood floor because it's just never crossed my mind to like do it. So I don't know if
I'm sure there are people who have only like access to like YMCA's that don't have real gym floors in it, and that's sort of like the only real thing they have access to besides grass. Because I've definitely seen people who train on hardwood basketball floors, even when other like people are just like playing basketball in the background.
Here's another surface that's kind of similar to the basketball thing, is wrestling mats.
Oh.
And I don't know if you guys have actually been on a wrestling mat before, and it's pretty solid. It's a little soft, but it's also like, solid enough, kind of like up there with maybe like a dojo's floor.
I was thinking like it's very similar to puzzle mats, at least last time I was on, like, yeah. Which like
intense in terms of like how solid it is, and
yeah, I actually don't mind tricking on wrestling floor. I think it's because I'm also just used to like puzzle mats because that's like my taekwondo gym definitely had some puzzle mat stuff going on, and like I'm very used to that surface. So I personally actually kind of like it, but that's just me. And I also do, because I swing a lot, and this is something I was going to bring up with gym floor, I do tend to appreciate floors with less give so that my swings can happen faster. So I don't have to wait as long on my swings, basically. But, yeah. I don't know about you guys.
I think it's all right. I don't think it's as bad as like hardwood floors or concrete. Tricks feel somewhat approachable on there.
Yeah.
But also only somewhat so because it's still not very forgiving in terms of crashes and such.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel a significant, personally, I don't find a huge difference between that and tricking on concrete.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Even, yeah, just puzzle mats, wrestling mats. The fact that you've just got like this really, really thin layer of foam, like, yeah, it doesn't really do much for me.
By all logic, that's honestly how I should approach it in my head. But to me, I think puzzle mats are just so familiar to me that I just don't mind it. But
I like the dojo
it's more like
aesthetic.
It's like a psychological placebo effect that makes you feel like it's a softer floor, even though it really isn't.
No, literally.
They just like did the fucking cartoon, just put like they painted a cushion on the floor.
Land here. Yeah, it's all good.
Oh my gosh. But I mean, I think the next one that's probably increasing in softness would be grass, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I mean, that one's one of the default ones in my opinion. It's like that and gym floor, which is like default for a lot of trickers. So, I think grass actually has a lot of variability, and there's an art form to grass. It's like, it's not just like every grass is created equal. Like you definitely, I'm sure we could all relate. We all have a trained eye when it comes to grass. Like we see grass and we're like, yo, that's good grass.
Real grass. Yeah.
Oh, but even sometimes, like you'll see grass from afar, and then you'll get up close, and it's like deceptive grass. You're like, I was sold a lie, you know?
Yeah, it's
This
like
isn't
I could
grass.
tell they just sodded this like very thinly over some like fucking metal bars or some shit. Like that's what it feels like, and it just sucks. I agree, and also
Yeah, so depending on your quality of grass, you could go anywhere from like actual hard surface, because I'm a boy has been on some hard motherfucking grass before. I don't know about you guys, but
I
not
also have
all
been on some
grass
hard grass.
qualifies as a soft surface. But if you find the correct grass, it's nice and healthy, and it is legitimately a cushion when you land on it, without, as Frank was mentioning before, being too soft so that it becomes kind of difficult to jump on, like dry sand. Yeah, this is the grass that we're going to talk about. We're just going to assume that there's some sort of window of standard grass that this exists
Right.
in, and we'll make
The perfect grass.
Yes,
The ideal grass.
that grass.
I mean,
That grass.
have you guys noticed any variables that play a fact into it? Because like, for example, to me, I've noticed that
Grass
length,
thickness.
yeah, thickness and length, I think, are the two
Thickness
biggest
for
things.
sure, and length is
And
definitely.
I think also the quality of soil underneath the grass, because like Bryce was saying, you know, grass itself isn't hard. It's like the earth underneath the grass that's hard. And if you're like, you know, like I don't know, if you're by a tree, for example, you know, there's might be roots underground. But that's like kind of like a weak example. There's like examples of like tougher grass or tougher like earth. Um, but yeah, I mean,
When the grass is wet, that obviously introduces an additional complication. So we'll make our assumptions for dry grass, because if you're training on wet grass, everybody has to do it from time to time, but that's very clearly not ideal.
let's also consider sand is kind of up there, but since sand isn't such a primary focus in tricking culture, like, you know, we're not all trying to trick on sand. We're all mostly trying to trick on gyms and grass floor. Or you know, like grass is the most subjected to environmental variables as well. Like Bryce was saying, like rain, and that impacts not only like your like what you could do on it if it's wet, but its availability. Like, you know, if it's severely raining or it's a thunderstorm, you know.
And
So those are some other
days too.
Yeah.
So at least
Snow.
here in Scranton, sometimes we get like whole ass weeks without sun. So it's like if it rains at the beginning of the week and the end of the week we still don't see any sun, like the grass is likely still wet and it fucking sucks. So yeah. But anyway, like Bryce was saying, let's just assume this is the nice default grass. Like it's not the greatest grass you've ever tricked on, but it's also like it's pretty good.
Serviceable. It'll do everything that you need it to do.
Yeah.
Tricking on this grass, I kind of feel like it's the baseline. This is the sort of thing that you could do consistently, and it wouldn't necessarily be awful for you, though obviously incorporating training on softer surfaces is going to be helpful, because it accumulates stress at a slower rate and allows you to do tougher tricks and take more falls than you otherwise would be able to on grass. But training on grass, I think, is actually useful. I think if you don't train on grass at all, that is to your detriment, because the spring floor, that's not all you. You're getting a spring in the ground to do some of the jump for you. And it's not much, but it really is something. So getting used to your own natural body timing on the grass is very useful.
I want to. Sorry, Frank.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I agree with you, Bryce, in that the point that you brought up that, like, you know, grass is like unassistive. So like, that's to say, like, it's all you know, that's your body, you know, you're pushing off an almost entirely neutral surface that's soft enough that it's not like super painful like concrete. And I think, you know, if you do a trick on gym floor, that's awesome. That's incredible. It counts too.
Yeah, exactly. It countsies.
But it's still like it's like, well, yeah, I've done it on floor, but I haven't done it on grass is like always kind of like a caveat until you have done it on grass, right? And it's like, so yeah, you've done triple cork, but you haven't done triple cork on grass. So now you've got to like warm up to it. There's a certain level of prestige or validity to landing harder tricks on grass rather than on bouncier surfaces.
I actually am going to push back on that assessment a little bit. Not saying that it's less impressive or anything to do it on grass. It's definitely more impressive. But I would say that the default is doing something on the gym floor. And if you were to do it on grass, great. That's like, oh wow, that's really impressive. That's cool to show off. But it's not like that's what we're basing everyone's skill level on. It's usually gym floor that everyone's like, that's the baseline. That's the default type of thing, if that makes any sense.
I probably would have agreed with that earlier in my tricking career when I had more constant access to gyms. But as I've had to train more on grass and I've considered the plight of the average person who might not necessarily have a gym in their area even, it's kind of become clear to me that's like, I don't know, from my perspective, because it's sort of just, it doesn't depend on any sort of outside circumstances. The chances that you're going to be able to find some grass to trick on are pretty high compared to the chances that you're going to just be able to find a gym that lets you do tricking in it.
Yeah.
Well,
Frank, I want to say that I actually do agree with you, and I wanted to rephrase how I had said that. I think that grass is like the baseline. I think grass, I meant more for your own personal ability. But that largely, yeah, what your skill level on gym floor is what culture at large within the training community is kind of like, is examining, is what we're comparing you to, is, so I do agree with you in that regard.
Yeah. I will say I've spent, honestly, if I had to count it, probably 50% of my sessions have happened on grass. Like, I've tricked on grass a lot, mostly because, like, when it's not a gym day, I'm usually tricking on grass. And that would typically, like, when I was tricking the most, that'd probably be, like, 3 to 4 times a week versus my 1 to 2 times a week at the gym. So, grass is definitely probably the thing I'm most familiar with, maybe not most comfortable with, funnily enough, but yeah, I don't know. I really like grass personally.
Yeah,
I also really,
we can definitely agree that it's an important component of a training routine to have grass sessions in there at some point.
I agree. I really enjoy grass as well. I think that there is something very special about going outside, and whether it's with some friends, I personally like solo grass sessions. I like that time to myself alone to, like, kind of just do whatever I feel comfortable doing. And some of my best sessions have been that way. But yeah, I really enjoy grass. I think it should be a part of anyone's tricking routine. And yeah.
Yeah, you're really losing out if you
I think.
don't have it.
Oh, excuse me.
I was just saying you're losing out if you don't have it, but go on, Bryce.
Yeah. Because of its ease of access, because of its availability, it kind of lends itself to allowing you to accumulate volume really fast. Something that I've been trying to do lately, as I've been getting more and more into my training routine again, is back when I was younger, I tried to trick at least 30 minutes every single day because frequency and consistency really benefits your tricking ability a lot. And I still want that same sort of training effect, but I don't necessarily need to throw like an actual 30-minute real session where I'm like throwing a whole bunch of combos. Instead, what I try to do is just have like 2 short grass sessions, one at the beginning of the day and one at the end of the day. And I'm not really like doing anything tough. I've just got a couple of tricks that I've picked out that I'm just getting reps in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that way I'm just doing that constantly. So those tricks feel really nice and easy whenever I do get to go to my gym sessions. And then also I've got sort of this baseline of conditioning of cardio that I have access, or I don't know if cardio is the right word, but like, it's easier to do more at the gym if I'm always just doing a little bit every day.
Well, you're just more conditioned to it. And I think that's very reflective of how I would typically train. It was very much like, okay, grass is for drilling stuff. It's for getting my reps in. It's for like, I'm not going to throw anything new on the grass. I mean, sometimes I would. But, like, most of the time it was, like, things I'm very familiar with, but I just want to get better at it. I just want to drill it. That way, when I go to the gym, I'm prepared. I could show up. I could try some new tricks. I could maybe stick to what I'm comfortable with and add another twist to this one thing. I don't know, whatever. But like, you know what I mean? So, yeah. And then my trampoline time would be like, I'm very heavily experimenting and not necessarily getting reps in. It's just like, I just want to see, you know, how many twists I can get, what new movements I can get in, so that I could eventually do them on the gym floor.
So then let's start working our way towards trampoline then. Let's get to spring floor.
Yeah. Well,
the big
this too has many caveats, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
there are lots.
there's a lot of
like there are lots of different types of grass. There are lots of different types of spring floors.
Yeah.
There's
yes,
the
that's
TVs.
true. There's the dead floor.
Yeah,
There's dead floor. There's
at our old gym called Extreme Air, which was a very janky gym. We had this. So it was like cheer floor, but like, you know how cheer floor has like each individual strip or whatever, and they're usually all the same color. They're usually all blue or all red or something like that. Ours is just a mix. It was like 2 red, 1 blue, like another red, 2 more blue, and then there was this one strip which was the gray strip, and it looked like TV static. So we call it the TVs. So like, I don't know, sometimes we'd be like, yo, like, yeah, you did double cork, but like, can you double cork on the TVs? like,
and the answer was always no, you couldn't.
Yeah, because it was dead.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, but I agree though, because there's a lot of variety, not just in gym floor, but also like gym availability is an aspect to, you know, that we have to consider in terms of all this. But
how expensive it could be. Oof.
Yep, that was something that I wanted to kind of hit on when we were talking about grass sessions. Was that like grass sessions are free, and I think that's very much in the spirit of tricking. But
well, they're free unless you live in the nuclear wasteland. But yeah, you forgot about our boy. I already forgot his name. Farce tricking in the nuclear wasteland.
He has to pay to access the wastes.
Yeah.
No, well, he has to pay to access grass. Do you see any grass in his video?
Oh, I see. It's
yeah.
I was just equating.
He's got sand sessions.
Well,
that's what he.
Sand.
We'll hit on nuclear wasteland in a bit, but anyway, go on.
I feel like nuclear wasteland is adequately covered by dry sand.
That's fair.
As someone who's lived in a desert, the difference between dry beach sand and dry desert sand, like it really just depends on how compactified it is. But you can definitely find dry desert sand that's comparable. But there's some harder sand. What's making it harder usually is the fact that there's like roots in shit, or there was rain at some point and it's just compactified it down a whole lot.
So, like, you don't think the uranium adds anything to the surface?
Well, you know, I
feel like it would harden it, right?
Depending on how hot the area you're in is, you might feel a nice warm tingle, but I don't know. Probably not going to affect the cooking surface much.
Yeah. Anyway, spring floor. What were you saying, Jason? I think you were saying something. Just kidding.
I was just saying that like availability of it varies. You know. Like, and there's a lot of things that play into that besides just like, you know, money, travel, you know, your relationship with the gym.
Yeah. I used to when I lived on the east coast of Florida, I had to travel 30 minutes to get to the nearest gym, which fucking sucked. Which, I don't know why I'm complaining about it now, because I just realized we would drive an hour to fucking Naples on the west coast.
That's actually my current arrangement. The YMCA that the boys that I'm with are now starting the gym session at is about 30 minutes north of me, which is honestly not all that bad because I'm used to having to drive all the way to the Harling house where the spring floor was in their backyard, and that was at least a 30-minute drive, more with traffic.
Right.
So I'm used to it.
Anyway, spring floor itself, it's great. I love it. I personally think it's a great invention. It takes stress off of the human body. You know, we're able to do more with it without it necessarily being like something that's breaking the laws of physics in any like way. You know what I mean? It's like you could conceivably do anything you're doing on spring floor on the grass is kind of what I'm trying to say.
Yes, it's the boost that it's giving you is very slight, and honestly, I think the benefit of the spring floor is more in the fact that it's reducing your impact for every continuous trick, as opposed to the fact that it's giving you that little bit of boost. That's helpful. The fact that you can jump higher on spring floor is useful. Don't get me wrong. But really, what's making the big difference is that over time, all of the reps, all of the various movements that you put in on a spring floor are going to lead to a vastly smaller amount of damage that you have to recover from than training on even grass.
Yep.
That's where, even though I do, like you mentioned before, I think grass sessions are great for putting in those reps. It still is great to have, if you can afford it, if you're able to make it work, as much of your training as possible done on spring floor, just because that will give you the ability to get more tricks in per week with less damage done to your body.
Yeah.
Which is really, it's like the damage, the tricks to damage per week ratio is really, if you can drive that baby up, that's critical. That's like the goal, in my opinion.
Yeah, I could agree with that. And also, the other thing I would add to that is that the human body is an amazing thing. Like, you subject it to micro trauma, not obviously not something all at once, but like little impacts, and it adapts. When you're on the grass and your bones are taking more and more impact, they're like, oh shit, we gotta like get more calcium into our bones so we can get stronger, so we can blah blah blah. Like, I mean, it's the same principle of how our muscles get stronger, but our bones do the same thing too. So I think having that balance of grass tricking and gym tricking is very important for that reason. Like, gym floor, yeah, you're protecting your body really well, but maybe you're not subjecting your body to, weirdly enough trauma to have it grow stronger, as opposed to like on the grass, if that makes any sense.
And this is actually what I think the correct role of weight training and resistance training is in your tricking routine. It's the only way that you're going to accumulate. And here's let me clarify a little bit, because weightlifting, you're still not trying to like break down your body too much. You are ultimately going to do that, and in particular, it's what has one of the most effects on your bone density of any other training methods. So it's really, really important for having strong bones to do weightlifting of some kind. But one of the things that it's really doing, in addition to, damaging muscle fibers, giving you that micro trauma that you're going to repair from, is that it's activating your hormones, specifically your human growth hormone and your testosterone, which is really what's actually going to cause you to lay down muscle. You're always going to rebuild and repair from micro trauma, and you're going to come back stronger. But when you are doing that with elevated testosterone and human growth hormone in your bloodstream, the effect is just far more pronounced. You're getting way more training effect, and you'll do it faster.
You recover a lot faster, for sure, with more testosterone in your body and all that stuff. So yeah, I completely agree. So I mean, I think it's just always a healthy thing to have a variety of tricking surface too, because also your body just gets if you give it the same stimulus over and over again, it becomes amazing just at that one thing, and that's it. You have to kind of like trick your body. You have to like keep it switching back and forth, weight training, grass, then gym, okay, and then it starts to develop a more well-rounded kind of I guess resistance towards the most amount of injuries as possible. Like, you know what I mean? It's like you're never going to be 100% injury proof. There's always a chance of injury, but you're going to be as injury proof.
Tricking is a dangerous sport.
Yeah. Yeah, even the most conditioned person, if you land in the wrong way, not even by like lack of technique or anything, but just like sheer luck, it's just, you can get fucked. So, yeah. We've
all signed that deal with the devil. We know what we're in for.
That's why I train like a little bitch now. I'm just like, double cork, sign me up. That's all I'll do.
A smart little bitch, but yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. But yeah, gym floor, like I said, think it's a great invention. It's awesome. I would say starting to get to the tail end of where it starts to get blurry is like where you have, we've been kind of mostly talking about cheer floor when we talk about just like gym floor. That's kind of what
so let's talk about tumble floor. Yeah.
So the gymnastics floor, which is like when there's the solid, there's no like what is it, rows or anything like that. It's just a solid carpet and it's just gym floor underneath. That's very bouncy. I do like it for certain things, but like I said, swings I definitely prefer to do on something like cheer floor because it has less give. I can time my swings a lot better. Because gymnastics floor has a lot more give, you have to wait longer before you press upwards to like get out of your jump, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it's kind of designed to do punches and rapids, really.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. We should actually. I can't believe we haven't talked about like punching at all. It's obviously what tricks you do could also affect. It could also be affected by what floor you're
Surfaces
on.
you train on, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, if you're doing a lot of sand training, you're probably not doing a whole bunch of punches.
No.
Jesus Christ, that sounds
Yeah,
terrible.
Concrete
dry
training.
sand, Jesus fucking
Concrete punches, yeah.
But then, like,
No thanks.
yeah, I mean, I know a lot of tumblers that do punch on grass and on concrete too, and I'm like, fuck, I don't know how you do that. But I personally,
I don't know. You refer back to the earlier part of the video where we talked about damage accumulation. That's really all I have to say about that.
There's a something in the law of conservation of energy, like it's going somewhere, like
Yeah, conservation of injury applies basically here. Yeah.
Literally, it's fine. They're also signed to deal with the devil in a different way.
Exactly.
But yeah, I personally I don't start punching until I get on shear floor. I know I'm a little bit more cautious with that. I know definitely there's a lot of people that do punch on grass. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't. I broke a knee over it already, so I'm just not fucking with that anymore. Yeah. Grass is
all I know is punch.
Pops and swings.
What'd you say, Jason?
I said all I know is punches, so
yeah, this dude fucking cart punches. Who the hell does that?
Only me.
Yeah.
On grass. But yeah, no, I think I like gym floor as well. I think my preference is going to be like shear floor over gym floor. I think that is like how I had said earlier to you, Frank. I think that's like where things count, where things like, and things past that's where things kind of get, a little bit more sketchy. I still think gym floor counts.
Yeah.
I think as soon as we get to the actual tumble tracks.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think there's a step. There's a step that, rod floor I would say does not count. But there's a step 2 I think we're not thinking about that's kind of new, but equally as invalid as those other ones, and that's air track.
Yeah, air track.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I think we can all agree the air track just doesn't count, right?
Absolutely, it's a great surface for training in a way that allows you to do some things that would be outside of your reach technically, and also do so in a way that reduces damage accumulation while not being so far away from the floor that it's like trampoline where the timing is just miles different.
Right.
But yeah, it is. It doesn't count.
So I'm also gonna push back again, Bryce. I have zero scientific backing to this, by the way. This is totally anecdotal, and I do actually legitimately want to perform this study at some point one day. But I do have a theory that air trick is just like a fucking injury magnet. Like especially when it comes to single leg tricks, like specifically trick and tricks. Like maybe tumbling, it's probably completely fine on tumble track, just as much as any other surface. But I've seen anecdotally so many trickers get injured on an air trick. Ilya, Slava, a bunch of other trickers have gotten injured on air track. And I think my predominant theory on that is the same thing as the hardwood floor. There's a lot of friction on it. And especially if there's a lot of friction on it while you have one leg down and you're not immediately punching off of it, like it's like sticking there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of rotation energy. Like that all is like just in my head, I'm like, that is a recipe for just like getting so fucked.
Yeah, knee injury. Yeah. Okay. I can totally see that. Maybe then it's a little bit more circumstantial. Maybe it's all of what I was saying only applies to certain types of tricks. So like things that are done two-legged and mostly like punch or otherwise something that's not going to put your knee in an unstable position.
Yeah.
I think that air track is really cool for that, like you were saying. I agree with Frank that it's also like kind of a disaster waiting to happen. My thing is like, while it's kind of fun for a little bit, like that's it. Like you just do a little bit of stuff. You don't really try to, I would Dan Perez it on this one. You know what I'm saying? Like, just stick to your comfort zone because you can and you probably will fuck your shit up. So
I definitely know that even when I've had them available to me, like when there have been air tricks at gatherings, I haven't really spent a whole lot of time on them just because, I don't know. I don't know if it's easy to get bored of them or it's just like it feels very strange to apply what you're doing on an air track on floor. But I've definitely had some good progress on it with certain swing throughs.
I
Like
was
as
gonna,
much as,
sorry, I was gonna say it does have a very unique property, which is initially what excited me about air track. Whenever they first came out and like I was learning about them, I was like, this is amazing because it's basically trampoline, but I can vanish on it. I could do like, vanishing into TDR, or I could redirect into TDR, or I can, do cheat kicks on it. Like, this is insane. Like, this is exactly what I wanted. And then I think, like I said, I still don't have any scientific backing on it, so I could totally be wrong. But I think that benefit is immediately canceled out by like what I just said about swinging on one leg.
I think I think that I think because I definitely can think of some, this is also just going to be anecdotal, but I've definitely seen some people who have had who have really benefited from just not necessarily spending a tremendous amount of time on air track, but like, they're going for a particular trick. They're not exactly able to get what they need done on the floor. So they go over to the air trick really quickly and, do a couple of the drills of maybe the prereqs all the way up into the big move where they have that extra bit of gas that they wouldn't have on the floor, and then immediately take it off. And this is probably even more just specifically for those tricks that don't have your legs going in all bunch of different angles where the chance of injury is much higher as well. So that's definitely coloring my opinion of that too. But yeah, I definitely think there's a time and place for it. I've definitely personally seen it benefit people, but like you're saying, I think because that the way it's arranged, and this is just kind of a natural fact of I'm trying to give you more bounce on your feet, but allowing you to do more tricking transitions. And we know that all the various tricking transitions just require a lot out of the practitioner to execute them safely. It's just naturally going to, increase the rate of injury for certain tricks.
Yeah, I think this one's definitely probably the most controversial one because I think it's still it's probably the newest form of, I guess, surface that we have. Because like, I want to say, I mean, maybe I think they did have like tumble track like air tracks for a while, but the dawn of the air trick, which is the square one, that came out while I was tricking. Like, that's very new. So I don't know. I don't think we know enough about it yet to say for sure if it's good or bad, but I'm personally staying away.
Yeah, my interest in it is pretty low. Just based on the fact that like you have to exert like a certain amount of energy to really like use it. I mean, not as much as you would on floor, but like still a considerable amount. And it's like I could just be doing this on floor and like, learning my skills. Not saying that it doesn't have a practical application, like Bryce was implying, but I think I'd rather just rip it out on the floor. Yeah.
Well, because that's the benefit of trampoline. It's like you're not putting energy into it, but you could still do kind of the same stuff you could do on floor, so you have that air awareness for it. So what you're saying is that like it kind of gets canceled out by the amount of energy you still have to put into air track.
Right. Like it's like it's not. Well, like when you look at the gap of energy exerted between like floor tricks and trampoline tricks, it's significant, right? And it makes, ripping out triple full on floor, on trampoline, like, a lot easier. But on air track, you still have to like, I mean, it is still like.
I don't know. I kind of think that's to its benefit because that means just translating whatever you're working on back onto floor is just going to be easier. But
true. Yeah.
Perhaps.
But anyway, we've let the cat out of the bag several times now. Let's just do it. Let's just talk about trampolines.
True, trampoline. I think this one.
And I think we should start with the tiny little tight tramp. The three, the 1 foot. No, I'm just kidding.
Everyone's been on it. Nobody knows.
Let's just talk about your Sky Zone trampoline. How about that? I feel like that's the most middle of the line one.
Backyard. I think backyard tramp.
Yeah, backyard circle tramps.
I feel like that's the least bouncy one though. I don't know. I was thinking middle of the line.
I think you're thinking about David's trampoline. David's trampoline wasn't so bouncy.
I actually love David's trampoline, but that's I don't know. I did dub on there the first time, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it had a unique bounce, but
okay, fine. Garden.
I think if you get like a new garden tramp, like I think. I don't know. Bryce, back me up here. I need some support.
I've been on the Harlan Garden Tramp after they had just put on a fresh set of springs. and you can actually get some pretty solid trampoline experience on a garden tramp if you've got a good one, if everything is like actually new and still springy and it hasn't been in use for 7 years, and if you were to like take it off the trampoline, it would already be sort of uncoiled because it's kind of just been stretched out of its original position.
Yeah.
So yeah, as long as you're not in that situation, I feel like garden tramps can still be pretty good. And yeah, I've done a whole lot on garden tramp because the place where I trained for many, many years, which was the Harling House back when I was still in California, they had a trampoline in their backyard. So I got plenty of time to go on trampoline. But trampoline is obviously, we were mentioning before how surfaces limit what various transitions and setups you're able to use on them. Trampoline has absolutely got that going for it because there are certain things that you just can't really do on trampoline. I defy you to vanish on a trampoline.
Yeah, it's awkward. I think it can technically be done, but
sure,
is it really the movement you're doing on the ground? No, like
no.
Not even close.
So no, trampoline is really like you can do certain kinds of swing throughs, and you can do mostly pops and punches.
And even then, they're not timed the same way on floor. And
not at all.
It sounds okay. It sounds like I'm shitting on trampoline. I just want to say I started out on trampoline. Like I learned my first flip on trampoline. I wasn't a G champer. I wasn't a garden champer kid, but like because they're freaks of nature. That's like a different sport in itself. I don't understand those guys. But I definitely got my start on garden tramp, and I owe a lot of my tricking progress to trampoline. I'll be the first one to say that like it is very good for air awareness. That's if you want to learn something on the ground. Trampoline is definitely cheat codes for becoming aware of your body, knowing what twisting twice looks like or what twisting 3 times looks like, and then being able to transfer it on the ground. It has 2 big downsides in my opinion. The first one is that in my opinion, chronic use has a lot of high injury rate, especially for your lower back. I don't know about you guys, but I used to trampoline like all the fucking time, and I had hella back pain. And literally, the moment I brought down my trampoline tricking to like 1 or 2 days a week, it just like my back was instantly better. So that's one of the really big drawbacks for me. And the other one is that I've noticed that people that are like chronically on tramp don't seem to jump as high on the floor, and I think their muscles are primed to jump in a very different way from people who are constantly tricking on the floor. But yeah, I don't know, what do you guys think?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you on the air awareness front. There's very few ways to train your aerial awareness, like just getting the hang time that a trampoline can afford you and just exploring what it feels like to test various motions in the air. And what's great about a trampoline is you can absolutely fuck yourself up by landing wrong on a trampoline. But if you know how to quickly move yourself to any one of a number of very safe positions easily, then it's pretty easy to attempt a whole lot of new stuff on a trampoline relatively safely. I would say always learn how to fall on a trick before you like very seriously attempt that trick on a trampoline. Yeah. And if you do, you'll be pretty solid. However, this is getting away from the elephant in the room, which is the fact that the landing and takeoff are going to have completely different timing and feeling than they will have on the floor, to the point where there will be essentially no transfer for those areas. Air where there will be transfer for sure, but like the way that you're getting into and out of the trick, it's going to be completely different from how it's going to be on floor. And so you're going to have to rely on getting that training from a harder surface, really.
Yeah. Sorry, Jason, were you going to say something?
You can talk, Rick. It's all good.
I was just going to say that when I was chronically on the trampoline, it really did fuck with my swing timing. Like, I was holding on to my swing so much longer on the ground than I should have, when I should have been quicker with it, because I was so used to the trampoline where I was, like, waiting for literally centuries to, like, jump off my left leg into my double cork or whatever the fuck it is, you know? So, yeah, I think the best way to train trampoline is very consciously, if that makes any sense. Is like I don't think I personally don't recommend someone just. I mean, you could go on trampoline and just fuck around and like that's cool too. But if you're just like, you know what, I'm doing this just so I can like get my kick out on Snapu better, like that's a very productive way, in my opinion, to train for trampoline. It's like, okay, I understand the timing of when to kick and when to twist down and when to blah 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 or whatever the fuck, and you're gonna get the most out of that personally.
Yeah, I agree. Targeted, highly structured training on tramp. Like save the unstructured fuck around time for when you're on a soft floor.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're on trampoline, be really, really decisive. I'm trying to, make as much use of this as I possibly can without spending a lot of time on it. Because like you're saying, yeah, there is an accumulation in your vertebrae of damage, which if there's something you don't want, it's to fuck up your spinal column. So yeah, definitely want to limit that as much as possible.
Yeah. And if people are,
I was gonna say,
what? Go
sorry, Bert, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say really quick that I'm so sorry, Jason. Fuck you. I was just gonna say that I think the biggest reason why you had that accumulation of damage in your vertebra is because it's not, the trampoline isn't just giving to when you go down, it's also pushing back on you. And that push back is really what fucks up your spinal column, because you're essentially, gravity's pushing you down while at the same time this thing's pushing you up. It's like literally compressing you. So, yeah. But go on, Jason.
I was going to say that I'm also pretty like, I can attribute a lot of my success with twisting to having spent some time on trampoline to learn it. But I also didn't like spend a lot of time on trampoline. Like I think it was like you and Bryce described a little bit more targeted and focused on specific things. And that's kind of how I've seen it in general, is because like there's an opportunity cost when you're training on trampoline, and it's that you're not training on floor.
Yeah.
And like I know that's kind of like weird to say, because like trampoline does have some benefits, like exactly like you said, and it also has its drawbacks, like forming bad long-term habits. But like ultimately, I think we're here to do tricking, and like that's what your focus should be. As long as like you obviously like do trampoline. I'm not saying don't do tramp, because just have fun. Mm-hmm. And I actually encourage just general fucking around on trampoline, as Frank will know. How many times have we tried just clapping our feet in one single jump?
Yeah, we fuck around a lot on champ.
Yeah, exactly. But I agree that there's probably smarter ways to train than that. But just like really balancing your training regimen. If you have a variety of services, I think it's important to incorporate tramp in there, but probably not like a ton of tramp. Maybe like 20% tramp, where like it's some other variety or division
I have a bonus round.
Okay.
That we hadn't anticipated, that just came to mind.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about diving, both off of diving boards and also, by diving, I specifically mean going off of an elevated surface into water?
Yeah. So it's funny you bring that up, because me and Isaiah had spent a lot of time on that, because our college had its own like pool and like diving board and everything, and like one of the bouncy ones too, which is sick as shit. I will say the only thing I've ever done on that shit is a twist. I've never done it. I was like too scared to backflip off of it. I don't know. I get a front flip every once in a while, but like I don't know. Backflips are just so off limit for me. So it was cool. I got good air awareness of. I was scared to death of landing on my back, so I got really used to landing on my feet, and I really do think that actually helps with landing on your feet. So that's a cool thing, I guess. Yeah, if you want to train landing on your head, you could do that if you want. I wasn't going to do that. So
it just gives you a unique way to train for those moves. Strangely enough, there are moves that you cancel by doing dive rolls out of them. So like,
yeah, and they scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, I honestly don't know why anybody would want to incorporate that in
I think they're kind of dope.
I'm gonna specifically throw my head at the ground, and I'm not even planning on like not connecting. Oh, okay, all right.
You know how many people have gotten paralyzed because of that? Like, actually,
Holy fucking
God,
Jesus.
okay.
Well, haven't there like been moves that have been banned from gymnastics specifically over this?
Yeah,
Because
front and a half was
yeah.
banned for
Yeah,
that reason.
the judges were just like, you know what? I'm just
Tired
not
of
into it
watching people
anymore.
paralyze themselves in front of me for points,
Yeah,
For
I
the
don't
sake
care
of
how
gold.
crazy it
for
is.
imaginary points. Yeah, and a gold pendant. Yeah, whatever.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, dude, I feel like such a dweeb after being in the medical field for so long because it's just like I'm just such a little bitch about things sometimes. Like when
You
I
know,
was
Frank, you're the doctor. You're that doctor that doesn't understand tricking. Like, you know what? You come full circle.
no,
Like,
no, no,
you
I'm
were
not
all
that.
about. Like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's coming. I feel like that's just down the pipeline. You're
I
just
I
a few more
refuse to.
semesters away from being like, you should never flip again, son. Like,
I refuse to become that, and I will catch myself if I ever do that because I never want to tell my patient you can never trick again. That sounds fucking terrible. So, but
How many
but
patients
okay,
have
but
been
what if they
told that
literally can
exact
never trick
phrase?
again? Like
no, you should
they
keep
did the
tricking.
dive roll, and paralyzed themselves, Frank,
I
and they're
don't give
under
a
your
fuck.
care.
I don't give a fuck. They're flipping. This is not medical advice, by the way. On this podcast.
This is not
uh,
legal advice.
yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Diving board is not my favorite thing, but I have fun with it. So I don't know. It's like 4 out of 10
Diving
stars.
board is like limited fun because, like Frank said, you can only do. I feel like you'd really only want to go forward on it, and
Mhm.
then even then, you still roll the dice on whether or not you're gonna like, land on your
Sometimes,
back.
sometimes if I
What
was
about
feeling
from solid diving boards? So the ones that are just really, really high up, but they're solid. That's the one like Olympic divers go off of.
that's 3 out of 10 stars to me because it's like a diving board but less fun. I can still only do front twisting moves because I'm a little bitch. And it's just not bouncy. Like, what's the point?
I don't know.
I feel like
it's
you just
physically
run and
capable to do
fall off of
swings.
those. I'm so sorry, Bryce.
I
I
wouldn't
don't
fall
know.
off.
I've seen people do like really crazy swing throughs on those before. So like or ice swing throughs, like movements that set up into them by doing swings. So like stuff like corks or even front swing moves. Just like the only thing that I always find like really sketchy about that is like you have to be so good at not missing. Like, could you imagine like trying to do either a backswing or a front swing and your foot just slips?
Yeah,
Like,
Off the
could you
off the
imagine
thing.
how far up your throat your heart would travel the second that happened? I would just
I
die.
would
I
die.
don't think
I
I
would
would make
die.
it to the water.
And then that's the shit that runs through my head, dude. I've watched so many.
Reasons why we shouldn't be doing diving board tricks. Exactly.
Guys, and like, here's the thing: if you ever want to enjoy tricks again, just don't go into the medical field because you just know how many ways you can fuck up the human body, and it sucks. It sucks. So, don't do that. Anyway. All right, another unanticipated floor. All right,
Okay, bonus round.
uh, just alcohol, like just fucking shattered bottles, dance floor, uh, just to trick on. How is that? Sticky,
Shattered bottles.
gross.
This is under the category of floors triggers don't trick on.
I don't know.
You don't trick
I
on
saw
shattered glass.
Jacoby during Mardi Gras, and that shit.
Oh my god, yeah.
No,
Oof.
but just like a dance floor at like the dirtiest fucking club with sticky floors and just I don't know, it's just terrible.
I definitely,
No,
I
I
definitely
feel like
know
that never goes well.
dance floor, tricking on dance floors is not too dissimilar to, in my opinion, tricking on puzzle mats and wrestling mats.
Yeah.
Dance floors suck to trick on.
Except now it's dark and there's a whole bunch of people
Yeah, a whole
around
bunch
you.
of people who
Yeah.
are really drunk, and you're probably drunk too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well,
Not good.
one time I did a split while I was at like a club, and I got
yeah, that's
it was bad. I got like just alcohol and just everything that was whatever was on the floor. Just oh my
no.
god, it's just, I don't even know what was on the
Right,
floor.
and then that was intentional. Now imagine you like fall on your ass unintentional, and now you've got whatever it was on your ass.
Broken fucking bottles.
Terrible. Okay, anyway, I actually do want to circle it back to tramps really quick because I did have one more note on trampoline, and that's that the tightness of the trampoline will really dictate a lot. Because I actually do think that it is worth training swings on a tight ass trampoline. I actually love training swings on really tight tramp because it's not too dissimilar from floor. Like, don't get me wrong, it's definitely helping you, but the timing is a lot more analogous to it. Versus if I was on a fucking like Olympic tramp and I was trying swings, I'm waiting a century to like pop off. So, but yeah.
I think another aspect to trampolines that Bryce actually kind of hinted at was health of the springs. It's kind of underrated. How many times have you gone over to the boys' house? They got rusty ass springs, barely holding the
They're
tramp
not
together.
actually stretching anymore. It's all just the tarp that's doing it now.
Yeah, you also have to account for the like just heart in your throat moment when your leg like goes through the fucking
Oh
hole
my
in the
God.
trampoline.
Don't even fucking remind me. I still have nightmares.
That's the worst feeling. Holy shit.
That's another thing about trampolines is that like we didn't talk about like some of the variables that surround that, but like there's a level of increased risk associated with trampolines. Not just like damage to your body, but like risk of injury, I think.
Yeah.
You could literally like flip off the trampoline.
It
Onto the hard
requires
ground.
a whole lot more consideration in order to train safely on a trampoline. You have the potential to train in a way that has a much slower accumulation of damage in some ways, but also much faster in others, qua our discussion on spinal injuries and so on and so forth. But yeah, this is all a moot point if you're just like balls to the wall, not paying any attention to your safety at all on a trampoline, because then, yeah, you can just fuck yourself up in completely new and creative ways that you just couldn't manage on floor.
Well, even if you're not, and like, you could still be careful and pretty.
Oh yeah,
fuck yourself
well, I mean,
up.
but that's also true of the floor, right? You can always hurt
Yes,
yourself.
I
The
guess
risk
that
of
is
injury always exists, but you can learn about tramp safety, and that can seriously mitigate what would otherwise be a tremendous amount of risk. Because most tramp injuries are preventable.
Yeah, I would
Only
say
you can prevent tramp injuries.
Yep.
Sorry, Frank.
You're good. I would say the other interesting thing about trampoline is that oh my god, I already forgot what I was gonna say. Fuck me. Well, I guess I didn't have anything to say about tramp anymore. But...
Turns out,
Let me all
after all.
blue in the balls and then leave me right on the edge like that.
Yeah. Also, it's interesting that you cannot have like an infinity trampoline. Like, there's always very limited.
Frank, it is interesting.
It actually is. Like, it's always like a very small enclosed space with trampoline. And I remember what I was gonna say before. The fear of dying on trampoline could be a really good motivating factor to get really good at air awareness and to not fall off the trampoline. Because I don't know, at least for me, my air awareness got so good once I was training on a trampoline with no net, because I was like, oh my god, if I fall off this, I'm gonna die. And I started to learn how to like control my body within the confines of the trampoline.
There you go. Fear is a great motivator.
I think that the net also kind of like psychologically impacts you, because like I always feel like I'm gonna land on the net or get tangled up in the net, kick the net.
It's like the least of my worries, honestly. For me, like the net is like a warm blanket of safety and comfort.
Yeah.
What I'm always worried about is
I don't know.
What I'm always worried about is putting my fucking foot through those, like either a hole just appearing in the middle of a tarp and my foot going through it, because like that's also terrifying. But also like just going too close to the edge and having my foot go through the fucking springs. That's not a great day for the boys coming up.
So true. Ken.
Yeah,
so
but
true.
I would rather take my foot going through a hole, I think, than like landing on the outside of the trampoline, but hanging from just like my right leg tangled in the net, and I'm like, ugh.
Just imagine the one day that one foot goes through one hole and the other foot goes through the other.
the other hole, and there's just a spring in the middle.
Yep, that's.
All right. Last unanticipated floor that we did not think about or consider, literal trash. Because I've seen.
Yeah, I've seen it too. Yeah, don't recommend this.
Actual
Avoid it at all
trash.
costs.
I can't believe you would bring me up like that.
I'm sorry, I had to do you.
Yeah, stop. We don't trick on Bryce as a surface.
No, but I'm sure everyone has seen the videos of the dudes who will literally do like double backflips into the track.
Dude, like will like pile drive themselves into the trash, doing a one and a
cardboard
half.
boxes and newspapers and shit.
I think that's probably I think that's where tricks count the most, personally. Like,
Yeah.
that is the...
There's no possible way to deny that you've done a trick if you did it on fucking cardboard boxes and newspapers piled on concrete. Yeah, you've done that trick. You did that. There's no dispute.
Yeah. But I don't know. I would give trash probably like 7 out of 10 stars. It's pretty cool. It's
That's very sweet of you. I'm gonna take that one home to the bank.
All right. So, what surfaces can we damp res, and what surfaces do we not have to damp res? That's the important question.
Okay.
We have to damp res concrete, hardwood floor, wet sand.
Yeah.
We didn't really touch on snow that much.
Oh goodness! Actually, yeah, that is a big deal. Yeah, snow is absolutely a tricking surface. The few times in my life that I've been around it so that I could see it, I've taken the opportunity to trick on it, and it is very unique. One of the things that it has in common with dry sand is the way that snow compresses, but it only compresses the first time you step on it. So after it's compressed that first time, then that shit's just hard.
Oh, no. No.
And slippery and
wet. There's also, I was gonna say there's a park nearby here. When it snows, there's like the trails where everyone walks on, and it just becomes ice. Like, it's not even snow anymore; it's just ice, and it's slippery as fuck. And I'm just like, I can't. Like, if I did a trick on here, I would actually die.
I definitely found it very challenging. I like recorded a couple of tricks because I just thought it was like a really pretty shot to have a whole bunch of snow and a really great sky in the background. But yeah, tricking on snow is like the worst part of tricking on sand. Plus, like, because it's both of the worst parts of tricking on wet sand and dry sand. You're gonna have the compression when you try to take off, at least if you're doing it on something that you haven't already compressed, and then you're going to be landing on something hard, and or you might get to land on something soft if you've got new fresh snow, but that requires you to keep going on fresh snow all the time and keep moving and land on a place different from where you took off.
I'm just picturing this college campus with just like this big field of snow, and you just see the prints of where someone just fell in like different locations, just scattered throughout where they kept switching. Oh my god.
I think you'd want to Dan Perez that for your own comfort, not even like to avoid injury, just because like snow is literally frozen water and you're going to be falling into cold frozen water. It's not comfortable. It's not. Yeah. You don't fall, you don't eat a face full of snow and then get back up. You're like, yeah, let's go again. Let's try that.
Yeah, no. It's definitely got a whole lot of disadvantages. The only advantage that it has whatsoever, in my opinion, is just that it looks really pretty.
Yeah, that's
just
true.
That it looks good in videos. That's it.
Yeah. I'd say Dan Perez air tricks if you can. This is medical advice. Please Dan Perez yourself while you're there.
Invest in Bitcoin.
This is financial.
No, invest in cinematic martial arts. Or what is it?
Yeah, no,
is it that?
Yeah, cinematic martial arts.
Invest in that.
Yeah.
Actually, don't invest in Bitcoin. From what I hear, cryptocurrency is like shot itself
down. Yeah.
Oh my god, with FTX like getting fucked or whatever.
Yeah. Oh god. No. You know what? Let's just not go into that.
What was I know a certain tricker who was very crazy about crypto. Anyway.
Oh no, lots of them actually.
Oh well, actually,
I don't. Oh, I know who you're talking about, Frank. I was like, it's the only tricker you ever talk about. I was like, what tricker is actually both crazy and crazy about crypto? And there's only one answer.
It's the only tricker I talk about. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, do you guys can we think of any other surfaces before we head out? I'd say carpet is pretty much equivalent to like
carpeted floor in house.
That's literally just above concrete. It's just a slightly softer concrete.
Yep.
It's still not comfortable.
Have we ever considered tricking on spikes? What's that like?
That's a part of my where trickers don't trick.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
They don't trick on lava.
Lava. Well,
this is the T'Challa Wakanda meme. We don't do that here.
we did have a lava spike set up at our gym one time. So
that is both that is comprised of both things we don't trick on.
Lava and spikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't. That's also medical advice. Do not trick on lava spikes.
Don't trick on used needles. That sounds both
that
incredibly
saw
disgusting.
trap,
Yeah.
that was not a tricking surface.
It's not.
Please don't get HIV from a double cork. Please, dear God.
What a way!
My double cork gave me Hep C.
Oh my God. Okay, well, I think I'm fucking done with these surfaces. I say, okay, favorite surface, cheer floor. That's mine.
Cheer floor.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I think that's pretty unanimous.
Yeah, it's just the default. It's all reliable, you know.
Mm-hmm.
All reliable.
Yeah. But yeah. So everyone in the comments, let us know what your thoughts are. Please let me know anecdotally about air tracks and if they really do cause injury, because I need to know. And yeah, just let us know your thoughts in general. So,
Yeah, what's your favorite surface?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think about our favorite surfaces?
Which one of us?
Or surface?
Oh, okay.
Ooh. I know it. Which Bryce?
Which talking to
Which? If you had to kiss Frank or I, who would it be?
That's a tough one.
Or concrete.
There's no way I could kiss
concrete.
both of you.
Oh, I mean, we can do both of us. Fuck it.
Okay, all right. That's definitely my answer.
All right, this has gone long enough. All right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.
All right.